Hello. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about my experience of university. This is going to probably be quite a long one because I have got a lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, it's going to be a very honest, very, raw explanation of my experience. Yeah, sit down, get ready, and let's talk about my university experience. So I really didn't have the best university experience. Generally, I have not enjoyed it, and that's just me being totally honest. And there are a couple of reasons as to why I think that this has happened, and the number one cause I think is COVID. Every class was online. I think this was the experience for everyone pretty much. Everyone has had a pretty bad time with COVID. It's been a bad time. There's no other way to put it. It's been a worldwide pandemic. It's affected everybody. It's especially affected students who are probably making that leap from high school to like sixth form, college, and sixth form to university. For me, that was my starting place. I had COVID start just as I was about to take my A-levels, and it was still very much present 2020 in September, which is when I started. And yeah, so everything was online, which was kind of expected, but also they said that it was going to be the same quality that it was beforehand when everything was in person. That's never going to happen. I mean, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have the same level of quality online as you would in person. That's just my personal experience, that's just my opinion. I just think you're never going to get the same feel. You're never going to meet people, generally, you're not going to meet people who are probably like-minded. You're not going to have good discussions. I mean, for me, when we were doing classes online, everyone just kind of sat there with their cameras off and only talked when they had to. Whereas when you're in an actual group seminar, everyone's talking, everyone wants to have their opinion shared, everyone's listening. You can just quickly jump in and out of, debates, conversations, whereas it's quite awkward to do that on things like Zoom because people are talking over each other and you don't know when someone's about to talk or when someone's finished. For me, yeah, it wasn't good. I did not enjoy that part of first year university at all. The other thing was being in my halls of residence, which was Wills Hall, and I will show you a picture of what it looked like here. Very nice, very beautiful, that's why I chose it. It was more expensive than some of the other halls of residence. I was originally placed in somewhere called Print Hall. I will show it here, which, yeah, again, it looks very nice. It's far more modern, but I went for the Harry Potter vibe, Oxford thing, Cambridge, whatever, just because I thought it was nice. I just thought, oh yeah, it's cute. Like, I didn't think about the stereotype of Wills Hall and the stereotype of people who went there. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit. I watched a few YouTube videos, but I don't know why I didn't actually take that information into account. I didn't actually think that that was what it was going to be like. I didn't think that the majority of people who went there were going to be private school kids, and I'm not from that background. I am working class. I went to a non-fee paying school. I obviously went in there thinking that's, stereotypes, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. It's not going to be like that. But it kind of was. Yeah, a lot of the people from there were from London, privately educated schools, who a lot of them knew each other beforehand, and it was quite cliquey as a result of that, and I struggled to be able to meet anyone outside of that because we weren't allowed to go out and do anything. We had long periods of being isolated and locked down within our halls for a very, very long time, and essentially after that I found it incredibly hard to just be there. I didn't want to be there at all at that point, because I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to go back to the people who I knew, I don't know, cared for me, that I could instantly have conversations with, you know, my friends at home, my family at home, my boyfriend. Like, I knew I could go back and I wouldn't have to struggle and trying to make friends with people who I thought were more, I don't know, like me. And I'm not saying I'm gonna completely not, you know, disregard people because they're privately educated. That was not the case. I just found that these people were quite cliquey with each other, and it was quite hard to actually infiltrate those groups and try to make friends. And obviously the big bit of it was COVID, and it was very difficult to actually get outside of my halls and meet new people, go to societies. That wasn't possible. The only societies that we had were online, and I just kind of thought, what's the point? You know, I want to be going out and actually meeting people, doing things, and I didn't want to just be sat on a Zoom call. I was sick of Zoom calls, like I think most people were. You know, I had to sit there for, I don't know how many I had in a day. I think maybe, I don't know, it wasn't really that much. My schedule is really not that full. I have like maybe 1 hour a day for like 3 days, I guess, of seminars. And then I'd also have online pre-recorded lectures for an hour. So I guess, I don't know, everything was online, and I was sick of stuff being online, and I didn't want to have to voluntarily do more stuff online. I just wanted to be with people in person, and I think many people can relate to that. So my halls was catered, and so that meant we had, I think, breakfast served, I don't know, I think it finished around 10:30, started around 7:30. So you could go and get that. You'd have cereal, you'd have like a full English cooked breakfast. You'd also have, I think, dinner. Yeah, you'd have dinner on weekdays, but on the weekends you would have breakfast and lunch, not dinner. So on the weekdays you'd also not have lunch. So it kind of worked like that. So you'd have 2 meals. The idea of not having lunch on the weekday was because usually you'd be out and on seminars, going to lectures, things like that. But again, yeah, that wasn't really the case. So we had like 2 microwaves, 2 fridges, 2 toasters, 2 kettles, between about 40 people. The kitchen, like most university kitchens, was rancid. So yeah, that was mainly the only shared space, and it was quite a small shared space for 40 people. The main reason why I chose the building I did, because there's an older building to Wills, then there's 2 modern bits. I chose the most expensive modern one because I said, oh, I've got a little bit of bursary money. This is the first time getting student loan. I'm on the maximum as well. And also because I was working as a retail assistant at the time. I'm not sure if I already said that. But yeah, so I thought, okay, cool, yeah, let's go to this little bit pricier place. It's nice. Hopefully we'll meet some people. I think it was quite naive of me, to be honest, to think that COVID was going to suddenly end in a couple of months and I'd be able to meet people, go out to seminars, have a normal university experience. But I don't know, can I blame myself really? I think most people kind of hoped that it was, or thought that it was going to be not as prolonged as it was. In first year, I was there on and off, to be honest, because so much stuff was just in lockdown. I was like, I don't really want to be here. I don't want to feel isolated. So I just decided I'm just gonna go home. And I think for most of my time I spent, for my first year, I was actually at home, because being on your own and being so isolated, it's not fun. It's not great to just be sitting there on your own day after day, having one seminar and then just doing what? Sitting in your room. So it was not the fun university experience that thankfully people aren't getting now. So if you're watching this and thinking, oh, is this what my university experience is going to be like? No, hopefully not. Hopefully another pandemic doesn't happen. But yeah, most stuff like that has stopped now. You know, obviously if you're in the UK, you know that everything has pretty much been relaxed now on COVID. So yeah, this isn't what your university experience is going to be like. It's just what mine was like. Also, I want to mention, in terms of Wills Hall, I would say don't go there. Don't go to Wills Hall. It looks pretty, it looks nice, it does have those Oxford, Cambridge, Hogwarts vibes, but it's not value for money in my opinion. The rooms were pretty old. Yeah, you have an ensuite, and I know some of the people that I knew who went there, and myself, there was a bit of hygiene issues or cleanliness issues with some of the showers and the ensuite facilities. There were things like silverfish running around there, which I caught a few times, which is pretty gross. Yeah, the beds are old, like the mattresses, like, yeah. In my opinion, if you go to the University of Bristol, or generally any university, it's more likely with the red brick ones that there's going to be an old place, like an old halls. Probably don't go for there. I know it looks nice and it looks pretty, like it's an Instagrammable, you know, it's cute, but don't go there. In my opinion, go for the more modern looking ones. Go for the ones maybe with an ensuite. I would say try and get an ensuite if you can get an ensuite. Go for a modern place that is self-catered, therefore you're going to be with a way smaller group of people, probably about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, maybe up to 10 people, using one kitchen, which is far better than 40. So go for a more modern place. So yeah, with COVID again, it's kind of stretched over into, I guess, my 3rd year and 2nd year degree. I actually wrote an article, which I will kind of show here off the back of this article from the BBC, which kind of said about how universities are still using half online teaching, half in person, or completely having courses online when they don't actually need to be. It was something that was implemented during COVID, like 2020, and it's 3 years on, and these online Zoom classes are still being used when they don't need to be. Or for me personally, I only have seminars now. I don't have any lectures except pre-recorded lectures, and some of them are actually only like about 20 minutes when they're supposed to be 50. So yeah, value for money, I'm not sure we're getting it there. There used to be, you know, you just go to a lecture theatre hall and you would sit for 50 minutes, you write down the notes from the lecturer, you know, standard kind of thing. But now, apparently it's a 3rd year thing with the University of Bristol. I don't know if it's the same elsewhere, like let me know if that's the same thing for you. But yeah, so now all of my lectures are actually pre-recorded. I don't know why, like there's no more COVID restrictions, so I don't know if it's for that. I have no idea. I tried to look into this and it was a bit of a weird one. The university didn't really tell me much. I don't know why it's happening. If it's the same again for you, let me know. But yeah, it's a bit weird. I have 3 2-hour seminars a week. I have one on a Tuesday, and I have 2 back-to-back on a Thursday. Other than that, that's it. I have nothing else. I don't even have weekly personal tutor meetings. I don't even have monthly personal tutor meetings. I don't know, the last time when I spoke to my personal tutor about like my grades and my progress, that has been a long time, to be honest. And also 3rd year, that's a really important time to be having these progress reviews. I'm on like a 2-1, hoping to maybe get into the boundary over first, but I'm not gonna like try and stress myself over it. But now would be a really good time to talk about those types of things. So yeah, leading on from that, there's quite a lack of support. If you're thinking that university is going to be like how it was in high school, how it was in your 6th form, in your college, disregard that thought. In terms of tutors, in terms of teachers, it's not like that at all. You don't have any relationship with your tutor, really. You see them for that 2-hour seminar, done. You don't speak to them during the lectures or anything like that. You don't have any one-on-ones except for priority hours sometimes, which you might have, I don't know, twice in the entire year, just before, you know, you do your essays or your exams. Generally, the support is, yeah, it's not the same as it was in high school. I kind of knew that going in. I knew there's going to be way more independent learning, but yeah, independent is quite different from absolute lack of support. Which again, I don't know if this is just kind of in my university, but yeah, the support is not great. So if you're not really an independent worker or studier, I don't know, if you feel like you need a push from someone, or you need, I guess, a bit of motivation, you need a lot of support in the work that you do, generally just rethink university, because it might not be for you if you're unable to handle that. I see myself as quite an independent worker. I like to just get on with the stuff. You're like, give me the essay questions, okay, I'll do it. Okay, just give me a few, you know, points in the direction. Let's have a quick talk about what I'm thinking of doing for my essay. Other than that, I'm pretty much good to go. But I did find the support a little bit difficult. And I also want to have relationships with people in my classes. And I found that quite hard, because even though for me now this is 2-hour seminars, I don't know, it doesn't feel like you're able to make friends with people. I made a few, to be honest, I've made a handful, probably less than a handful, a few, a couple. I've not made many friends because it's very difficult to do so in your seminars. You get given a small amount of time to talk about what you're doing, and then other than that, you can't really talk about personal things or get to know people generally at all. Again, probably different for different courses. I do politics and sociology. I should have probably talked about that. That comes under the social sciences, I don't know, sector bit, I don't know. So yeah, that's where I fall under. So it seems that we have a lot less time than people who are doing STEM subjects. So yeah, friends can be very hard to make. For me, it was very hard to make because COVID, because of the place I was in, because I wasn't able to actually get out and speak to more people. Societies weren't really happening. So my advice to you, one, it's not going to be the same experience as I had. You're not going to have the same COVID issues that I had. So pick a handful of societies that you're really interested in, that you think, yeah, I will go to these, and speak to people when you get there. Consistently go to these societies, go to the socials. It can be daunting at first, but if you go at the very start of the year, pretty much everyone's going to be in the same situation, and just think everybody's looking at themselves, everyone's thinking about themselves, how they think they may be perceived or how they look or anything like that. So try not to put so much kind of, I don't know, judgment on yourself, or trying to kind of get rid of that nervousness by just thinking, you know, everyone's thinking about themselves, no one's going to be thinking about me. There's going to be so many people there who don't know anyone. So that's my advice. First year or start of second year, even start of third year, there's going to be brand new people to these societies. So just go and try and make some friends, or just try and speak to people, and don't put so much pressure on it at first. Just try and speak to some people and see where it goes. So yeah, I'm going to talk about my course again. So it is politics and sociology. It falls under the social sciences and law, as I said. I didn't find the load of work too much. I thought there actually could have been a tiny bit more. I didn't really find it too strenuous. So if you think that that's going to be a big issue when you go to university and you do a course similar to mine, don't stress about it, because for me personally, I didn't find it to be all that bad. If you're doing something like medicine, it's going to be very, very different from what I'm doing. You're going to have way more contact hours. You're going to just be having way more work to do. You're going to have to go to lots of different places. So it's going to be a very different experience for you in terms of, I don't know, workload and things like that. But I'd also say that there needs to be more guidance, and there needs to be, again, more support with how you can do well on your essays. I didn't really think I got that. Again, it might be something to do with COVID, but being kind of in person now, I still don't think we would have gotten that guidance at first as to how to write good essays, or to how to write first class essays, how to get into the boundaries of, I don't know, 2-1 to first or 2-2 to 2-1. There needs to be more guidance on that. So one of the biggest positive things with my university was being able to go to Asia, and I kind of made a video on this for my first ever video. But Go2Go is a company which is affiliated with most universities, I think. Check them out. If your university hasn't got them on their, I don't know, travel abroad page or study abroad page, just Google them. They're for most university students, and also I think they're also if you are on a gap year but are going to university. So it works with the Turing scheme, and it's really great in terms of being able to travel the world, to go to different places. I would never have been able to go to Asia if I hadn't have had this company help me out. It's a great scheme for people who just don't have the funds to be able to do that type of stuff and want to travel or want to teach, because the main thing that you were doing there was teaching. And yeah, it was an experience of a lifetime, and if I had to go through the whole thing again with university, I probably would, just to have that experience in Asia. It's made me find my passion. I love traveling, I love meeting people, I love culture, so I want to do so much more of that. I'm going to America this summer to work with kids more, to travel with my friends, and it's going to be an amazing time. I can't wait for it. So that has happened because of this with Go2Go and because of my university. So that is a massive positive from going to university. So I guess I want to end on saying my university experience is kind of unique. Not everyone's university experience is going to be like this. I think it's kind of particular to me and my year group who have had this happen. Going forward, if you're starting university next September, this isn't going to be the same for you. COVID has been the main thing that has impacted my university experience. So if you take that out of the equation, it would have been a completely different experience, and I wish it had been in that respect. But also there are things that still stand, for example, support, some of the accommodations, meeting friends might also be a little bit difficult for you. The workload might be too much or too little. And then again, you've also got to understand that just because you go to university doesn't mean you're guaranteed a job afterwards. In fact, it really does not guarantee you a job afterwards. It is very hard to get into that working world afterwards. Yeah, it's difficult. It's hard because lots of people have degrees. Lots of people have very good degrees from very good universities, and they all want the same jobs. They all want the same internships. And it's difficult in the world of working. So you've also got to acknowledge that part of it. It's not going to guarantee you a job if you have that degree. So I guess with that, if you don't have to go, then maybe don't go. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, okay, you need a degree. If you want to do something, I don't know, in marketing, communications, or I don't know, there's so many different things, business even. If there's, I don't know, it's just something that you could possibly get around going to university for, try and do that. Because you could be earning with an apprenticeship instead of paying these very, very big fees and maybe not getting all that much out of it. You know, it's about £9,250 for a UK domestic student to go to university in the UK. It's about double that for an international student. Are you getting, I don't know, your money's worth? I would say probably not. So maybe if you are able to not go to university, don't go to university. Overall, yeah, my university experience has not been the best. Like I said, COVID has been a big factor within this. There's been a couple things from the actual university itself, which has been a bit, not the greatest, but this probably be found in a lot of universities. That's why I say have a look at somewhere else or some other things first. Apprenticeships, general jobs, I don't know, just jobs that align with what you want to do. If they are there, have a look at those instead of paying these big fees. Because if you think about it, if you were paying £9,250 to anything else, you would be getting top quality stuff. You would be getting so much support and just so much back, so much value for money. If you think about really anything else that you'd be paying nearly 10 grand for. And also you would be able to say to them, oh hey, I'm not happy with however this has gone, can I have a refund on this, or can you do something for this? Or you know what, you'd just be able to speak to people about things and not be told, well this is just how it is. You know, we just kind of accept some of this stuff as students because we just kind of think that this is just how it is. I don't know, yeah, with university it's an odd one. If this was any other product, anything else that you'd be paying this much money for, you would be getting way more quality, I guess, way more support. You wouldn't just sit back and accept some of the stuff that happens, some of the lack of things. So yeah, that has been my experience. This is gonna probably be kind of a long video. I've been recording this for a while now. Again, this probably isn't going to be your experience, but it was mine, and I just wanted to just tell you that there. And yeah, you deserve to know, I guess, what you're getting into with some of these things. That university may not be the best time of your life. There's so much before and after university that could be better, and that's okay. University doesn't have to be this all-encompassing, amazing time in your life that you will forever wish you could go back to. For me, it wasn't that, and I am happy that it's almost over. I'm happy that I'm gonna get what I need out of it, and I'm happy that I'm gonna, you know, go forward from this. Sorry for rambling on so much about this, but it's something I'm kind of passionate about. I care about education. I want people to have a great education. Education is so valuable. It is one of the greatest resources ever. You can have a lot of things taken away from you, but you can never have the knowledge that you have taken away from you. So it's an amazing thing to have education. But that was my experience of university. Let me know what yours was like. Thank you for watching if you have watched this far. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.